Peace and love, everyone. Happy Tuesday to you all. How is everybody doing?
Peace and love, mother. How are you all?
I'm doing pretty good.
That's
Nice to
good.
see you here. Peace and love, Sister Iman.
Hey, it's peace and love, Shay Marie.
How are
I'm
you?
doing good today.
That's good. Awesome. So, I decided to change things up a little bit. Um, it's real quiet in the finance world, so I'm working, putting some things together in the financial area to present to you guys to get you guys more interested. So while I'm working on that in the background, what I've decided to do is we discussed this earlier the other day on Sunday after our book club reading during our little discussion at the end. Um, I decided that what I was going to do is maybe implement an additional day of reading because I'm noticing that we're getting more interaction with that. Um, and it's very informational. It also is very beneficial to financial literacy as far as us getting, getting this inner and understanding of the history of basically how our government has gotten where it has gotten and how, the current impoverished states that our people are in, how we got here. So knowing this history is very important. The past couple of times we've gotten together and done our readings from the book that we've been reading over, New Beginnings Study Course, Connect the Dots and See by David E. Robinson. Has been absolutely amazing. We've been having great discussions and just going over the book. So we've gotten this past Sunday, we went over chapters 7 through 10. So today we're going to pick up on chapter 11 and go through there. I don't know if anyone has their book. If not, don't worry. I will be reading and we'll be discussing as we go along. I'm not going to hold you guys long. I'm probably going to cut this short to about 7 o'clock as far as the reading is concerned. I just want to implement more of the reading part because reading is very fundamental to a fundamental key to our growth as well and getting an understanding and comprehension of this. So I feel like if we come together and do more of this, then maybe it'll make help a lot of us have more confidence moving forward and how to remove ourselves from the public side of government and move ourselves into private and walk in our sovereign status. So with that being said, did anyone have anything they want to say? Sister Iman, did you have any questions or anything like that? Or I hope I'm not saying your name wrong. I think it's Iman.
Yes, ma'am. It's Iman.
Okay. I'm just going to call you Sister Smith. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay. I don't want to keep pronouncing your name wrong. Did you have anything that you wanted to ask or had anything you wanted? Were you able to review our recording this past Sunday and last week as well?
But I was out of town for a couple of days. I missed Sunday's class because I forgot. Did you post the recording
I have.
for Sunday?
I did post the recording. So I'm actually putting it on podcast. So if you want to listen to it podcast, or if you want to watch, listen to it on YouTube, there's two different options. So I have us on Anchor now, and then on the YouTube channel. And actually, you guys, you don't know this, but we are actually live on my YouTube channel right now. I did put that in the chat. I'm just doing this to kind of draw more attention to what we're doing, get more interaction from our people, so that we can continue growing and building together and uniting our people and get this information out there because a lot of people don't know. So, yes, we are on YouTube and that those recordings are available on my YouTube channel and on Anchor. Which is all can be located in the Telegram chat. So moving forward, we're going to go ahead and take about 40 minutes to an hour to get through a couple of chapters of the New Beginning study course, Connect the Dots and See, by David E. Robinson. So I'm going to be picking up on chapter 11, and we're going to go from there. Chapter 11, America, Land of the Sovereign. Hierarchy of authority. Each of us was born free. Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. I'll be just going and forgetting what I said I wanted to do. Before I continue reading, what I would like for us to do, I'm going to share my screen again, and I would like for us to definitely recite our affirmation. Recite this affirmation. This is our community. This is going to be our community affirmation, okay? And we're going to be reciting this every time we come together. So I'm going to make it a habit of making sure we recite our affirmations as we gather and put these, affirm these things in our life as a community and personally as well. So if you can unmute yourself, and then we'll read it together. Okay, so the affirmation is, I am a happy leader.
I'm a happy leader.
I am a happy healer.
I'm a happy healer.
I'm a true friend
surrounding me.
I have
boundaries energy.
I have
great wisdom.
I am a true leader. I am filled with God-given creativity, dedicated to helping humanity. The spirit of the Lord goes before me and makes easy and successful my way. I have faith in myself and all that I do. My creative mind comes forth with new and productive ideas. Day by day, in every way, I am very better and better. I attract true leaders who can help achieve my mission to better serve humanity. I praise God from whom all blessings flow. I will leave the world a better place than when I found it. So mote it be.
So mote it be.
Indeed. All right. I just wanted to make sure we did that, you guys. And before I go further, let me pull up. I have to share. I'm just gonna pull up our 1 second. Okay. Share screen, and then I'll get to reading. Mother Vegeta, are you reading with us, or were you able to get the book by chance?
Yes, I have my book now.
Okay, no problem. Okay, so chapter 11, we're starting at American Land of the Sovereign. Hierarchy of authority. Each of us was born free. Each of us was born a sovereign being. As a sovereign, there is a hierarchy of authority in the political arena. As a man or woman, you are a king or a queen. You are the highest authority under God. All power rests with you. All lawful authority stems from you. Your only law is the golden rule. Never infringe upon the rights of another. Abide by the agreements you knowingly make. You might team up with another man and form a marriage. You might team up with another and form a marriage, a partnership. A king and a queen may join together and begin a family, the family unit. In a family setting, the father has the ultimate authority. He is responsible for the welfare of the entire family. Still, each member of the family is a sovereign in his own right. So father and mother usually share in the responsibility of rearing the children. Together, they establish rules and responsibilities for each of the children to follow. Never establish harsh punishment and rules. Each child is also a sovereign as well. But rules and responsibilities teach children the meaning of sharing together with the rest of the family as a team, their responsibility within the family unit, and in life as well. Neighborhood. Next comes groups of people in your neighborhood. Each father in the neighborhood is the ultimate authority of his family. You can come together as a group for the benefit of all concerned. For example, each neighbor could agree to assist his neighbor if his house or barn caught fire or if some other such disaster occurred. However, if you choose not to participate in such an agreement, no one could pass a law or penalty and enforce it against you. But it would benefit everyone in the neighborhood if you did agree to assist each other. So groups of people in a given area are next in the hierarchy of authority. Could people in another state pass laws or agreements for this group of people? Of course not. Even if they did, no one would be obligated to obey such laws or agreements. Townships. In 1803, President Thomas Jefferson appointed Lewis and Clark to explore and map out the newly acquired Louisiana Purchase from France, nearly 1/3 the total area of the United States. From this endeavor, the entire area of the United States was mapped with metes and bounds. We measure today boundaries for each piece of property with metes and bounds. Townships were formed across the nation for every 6 miles on a side, containing 36 square miles. These townships exist today. Townships are in the next of the hierarchy of power. People within these townships begin to cooperate with each other and towns begin to grow. Small governments developed in these townships so that everyone could better benefit from cooperation with each other. Still, this small government could not, under any circumstances, apply laws that would infringe upon the sovereign people. The people were still king and controlled the members of that government. Counties. County governments are next in the hierarchy of power in politics. States. The states then created the federal government called the United States with a small u. United States of America. America was a republic. The Constitution of every state and the U.S. Constitution for the United States guaranteed every state a republican form of government, ruled by the people, not a democracy, ruled by the commander-in-chief of the military. So the democracy is ruled by the commander-in-chief of the military. Only the 10-mile square of Washington, D.C. was to be a democracy. I'll repeat that again. Only the 10-mile square of Washington, D.C. was to be a democracy. In 1776, the Declaration of Independence was signed by the various groups and states and sent to England. England considered the various states their domain to be taxed to pass laws and agreements for them without their consent or agreement. The Declaration of Independence gave notice to the world that all Americans were sovereign people, in which independent and supreme power and authority is vested, a chief ruler collectively with supreme authority, a king. Thus, we, the sovereign people, created the various states that in turn created the United States of America with a small u. The ultimate power rested with the people. The Revolutionary War was waged and supposedly won by America. The sovereign people then delegated some of their authority to the states to form a government in each state. A constitution, an agreement between the people and the newly formed state government, was drawn and adopted by each of the various states. Those constitutions applied only to those in government. They did not, nor were they ever intended to apply to the people within the states. The sovereign people were still sovereign. The people were still king, the ultimate authority. The constitutions were merely a contractual agreement for those working in governments, guidelines within which government officials worked. If those government officials overreached or broke the bounds of their state constitution, there were penalties to pay. United States of America with a small u. The several states then got together and began to draw up guidelines for a federal government. These were the Articles of Confederation. These articles were never finished because of factions among the wealthy landowners of the new nation. Some people wanted to be aligned with England. Their wealth and prosperity were interlocked in English commerce and rule. Others wanted to be completely separate from England. Those who favored England found that there was too much opposition to being bound with England. As a result, those in favor of England, with the aid of English bankers, did the next best thing for themselves. They pushed for a constitution in place of the Articles of Confederation. The Constitution was completed and established by the wealthy class before the Articles of Confederation could be finished by the common man. The Constitution was adopted by several states in 1789, but a few states wanted some protection from the new government, federal government established by the elite. It took another 2 years for the Bills of Rights to be joined with the Constitution in 1891. The Bills of Rights was to protect those in the federal government, not the people. Those in the 10-mile square who were the employees of that government, never the people. Sovereigns do not need constitutional protection. They are real people who have natural freedom by heritage as sons and daughters of God. Titles of nobility. Now that we have the hierarchy of authority mapped out, things are running as unexpected according to the above line of command. Let me see, 1 second. I had the hierarchies of laws up the other day. I want to see if I can find them again. I actually had the hierarchy of laws up, and so these are the hierarchy of laws, guys. Explained a little bit different in this book because the very first law is universal laws, then you have natural laws, laws of maxim, then you have the sovereign laws. Then under sovereign, which we are, is contract, the treaties that were created, and then the Constitution came after the treaties. Then you have the federal codes, which are from the the Uniform Commercial Code, which we will definitely be getting more into in the near future as we dive into these books and dive into this information. We have a corporation, which is basically the United States and all of the corporations up under it, such as the state municipalities and courts and things of that nature. Then you have the police, corporations, and agents. And then you as a citizen, being the lowest on the totem pole, because you are basically a citizen of this. You made yourself a citizen, not unknowingly, by contracting with these, with the inside of the basically the corporation, but you're contracting on the wrong side of the law, and you're not in the private as a sovereign, you're in the public. So that's the difference between us being here in the middle and the bottom. So that's my understanding and understanding of it. So moving along, it says, now that we have the hierarchy of authority mapped out, things are running as expected according to the above line of command, right? No, not quite. The foreign bankers knew they would not be able to control sovereigns with this system. So they engineered a fictional system to look like the real thing, that which seemeth to be, but is not. The first thing they did was to make the entity which looked and sounded like the Republic, the Federal United States of America. Notice that the U is in the U in United is not capitalized. That is because it is an adjective describing the noun States of America. With what if one capitalized the U as in United States? This would be a name, a title, would it not? So now we have a title of nobility for the Republic, which our founding fathers, Esquires, incorporated in England as an English corporation. In 1944, the Buck Act took their sovereignty away from the states so that the states could also have a title of nobility as the state of Maine. In place of Maine Republic, in place of the Maine Republic, then came the counties and the municipalities. Each were given their own corporation, which replaced the government of original intent. What we then had was the inverse relationship to the original organic republic states, a mirror image instead of fact. If you had the original hierarchy of authority if you hold the original hierarchy of authority up to the image in the mirror, it would look like this: sovereign, which is John Henry Doe, in lower and uppercase letters, not all caps. Then you have family, neighborhood, township, county, and state. Country, then world. Mirrored, it is world corporation, national corporation, state of Maine corporation, county of Cumberland corporation, town of Brunswick corporation, voting district, and then the straw man. So basically this is saying, as a sovereign, the hierarchy of authority should look like you as a sovereign, then the family as a whole, then the neighborhood, the township, the county, the state, then the country, and then the world comes together as a whole. But it's the way that it is set up is actually the opposite. As a world corporation, then a national corporation, a state corporation, a county corporation, a town's corporation, voting district, and then the straw man, putting you at the lowest of the totem pole, kind of short of what I just expressed here in this description. So John Doe, the straw man, or John Doe in all caps, the straw man, if you feel like the government has authority over you or rules your life, then you need to look at what or who you are, because that viewpoint is as being a straw man, the fiction residing in the fictitious world of corporations. So if you identify as the straw man, you're identifying yourself as the fiction residing in the fictitious world of corporations. The government can never have authority over you because you are the government. You are a sovereign. But a corporation such as the United States can obtain a contract with your straw man, which is the legal fictitious entity, or another corporation, through acquiescence, admission by silence, and tacit assent or consent. So by us saying that we're putting our shoes as the living, breathing woman and man, we're putting ourselves in the shoes of the straw man, but we are not the straw man. The straw man, as it just said here, is a fictitious person or is a fictitious corporation. And only fictitious corporations can contract with other fictitious corporations. So this is what the government has did, is made a fictitious corporation with what you believe is your name, but it's not your name. And it is not you either. They just made another you, pretty much. It says, are you the sovereign or the straw man? United States and the secured party. Due to the impending bankruptcy since the Revolutionary War, the United States has been under many bankruptcy reorganizations. There are only two groups of people in the situation that we have today: creditors and debtors. A debtor is also called a secured party because his financial interest is secured, not able to be taken away by the debtor. It is unalienable, unalienable. Who gave the consideration to make the Federal Reserve notes, bills, and bonds, otherwise known in today's commerce as currency or legal tender? The 73rd Congress of March 9, 1933 said, the new currency will be worth 100 cents on the dollar and will represent the credibility, or credible promises of the nation. It will represent a mortgage on all the homes and the property of the people of the nation. This makes you a creditor of the United States, since the United States received the benefit of the credit that we loaned to it by pledge. That makes the United States the debtor, not the creditor. The employees of the United States know who you are, which you are a creditor. So isn't it time you started acting like one? That was chapter 11. We're moving on to chapter 12. I'm gonna take my time with this because this chapter can be a little bit confusing. All of these things they put in our forefront to be confusing and make life confusing. So this is kind of why. But the name of this chapter is Jack and the Beanstalk. And before I go any further, did anyone have anything they wanted to say in regards to that particular chapter that we just read?
Hello, Mother.
Peace.
Hi. On the hierarchy of laws,
Mhm.
where it has sovereign. So basically, on the hierarchy of laws, the corporation, the treaties, the Constitution, the police, all of them should be up under us.
Absolutely.
So they, like you said, they switched everything. And if we were where we were supposed to be in the position of sovereignty on the hierarchy of laws, I don't think we would be in the situation that we're in right now, because if people knew, I think, better decisions would probably have been made, over the years. But since we're in the situation that we're in, do you think it's possible that we can even recover, from all of this?
I believe that we can. I believe that if more of us are getting this knowledge, getting this understanding of this knowledge, and working as hard as we possibly can to teach our people the right way of doing business in commerce, because that's all all of this time, everything has always been about money and how to control the people. So, I mean, if we don't want to be controlled by a government that we actually put in power, then it's up to you to know how to use the laws in in the best interest of you, for yourself and your family. I mean, otherwise you're just gonna continue complaining, continue having to punch a clock. We all have an estate. We all have an estate, which is tied, like it is really tied to like an account with unlimited money. But there is no money. It's all just checks and balances. So we have to learn how to take advantage of the fact that, you know, at the end of the day, this court, this government did what they did to us to put us in slavery, but what they did was also left on the other end a open way for us to come up out of it and take advantage of it at the same time, the same way that they are. You understand what I'm saying? So
Right.
why not? Why not?
Right. Right.
What I'm saying?
This is an eye opener. I tell you that. We have been truly bamboozled. Like,
Yes.
oh my goodness. Okay. That's all I had to say, Mother. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. So chapter 12, Jack and the Beanstalk. Children's fairy tale have an ulterior motive. Think of the fairy tales as psychological implants, and that's really what it is. It's like we've been going through this psychological attack on our minds to basically put us in fear, and to basically make us domicile. And we all know that, like this book said, we're all kings and queens, we're royals, but they treat us like we're savages. And it is not anything that was actually in us. This is something that has been programmed within us over the course of generations through our families. They really done a number to us with the frequencies, by lowering the frequencies on the planet, and so many other things. So that's exactly what this is. It's a psychological implants that you are giving to your children so that they will obey the established powers that be. This is why you tell the story when the child is in a semi-conscious state. So it puts the child to sleep thinking unconsciously about the story throughout the night, and in a hypnotic state when they wake. Find the oldest version of Jack and the Beanstalk, 1800s or earlier, perhaps on the internet, since the new versions have been deceptively altered. One new version says, "Fee fi fo fum, I smell the bloody of a runty one." Perhaps the author wanted to be politically correct, not wanting to degrade someone by calling him an Englishman. Or maybe this story has been altered to cover up its true meaning. If you have seen the made-for-TV movie of this story, made recently in 2001, it too gives an altered point of view to the original meaning. Here is what we discovered from the dictionary definitions of words. Jack, James, John. Being the most common Christian name in France, it became synonymous with rustic or clown, a meaning that it also had in England, where it came to be used as a substitute for the common name, John. The Union flag of Britain, made by uniting the crosses of St. George, St. Andrew, and St. Patrick. Rustic or clown, a country bumpkin or commoner. 1939, Webster's. The word poor, destitute of riches, not having property, needy, having little value or importance. Barren, destitute of intellectual merit, wanting in spirit or vigor, impotent, magic. The art of producing effects by superhuman means as a spiritual beings, as by spiritual beings or the occult. Bean, a, a legume used for food. Bean goose, a species of wild goose which winters in Britain. Being king, the person who presides as king over the 12th night festivities, attaining this dignity through getting the bean buried in the 12th night cake. A large cake into which a bean was often introduced, prepared for the 12th night festivities. The evening of the festival of the 12 days of Christmas and the Epiphany, an appearance or a becoming manifest. Specifically, a Christian festival celebrated on the 6th day of January in commemoration of the manifestation of the Savior's birth to the wise men of the East. Flame, your mind, the source of ideas and vision. 1939, Webster's. That was for the word bean, B-E-A-N. Okay, so the word cake, C-A-K-E. To take the cake or to complete the victory, to surpass, 1939, Webster's. Stop, the stem or trunk of a tree or other plant, the original race or line of a family. Lineage, the property which a merchant, tradesman, or company has invested in a business. Capital invested in someone, commercial, business, or enterprise, and contributed by individuals jointly to store or hoard. Stock breeder, a person who breeds livestock or domestic animals. Cow, the general term applied to the female of the bovine genus. The most valuable to men of all ruminating animals because of her milk, flesh, hide, etc. Also to depress, keep under, and subdue. So notice that most of these words have multiple meanings, guys. This is how they trick us up. The business of exchanging commodities for other commodities is trade. I'm sorry, this is the word trade. The business of exchanging commodities for other commodities or for money. Commerce, traffic, the place where commercial exchange occurs. Cast, to throw, fling, or send. To turn or direct, to decide, against at law. To form by pouring liquid into a mold. To compute or calculate. The word window, an opening in the wall of a building for the emission of light or air, suggestive of a window. So that we don't get lost in the definitions, let's see what we have thus far. Jack, the commoner in England, is poor, lacking in spirit, that he takes his cow, state of being. So, okay, let me start over, you guys, because a lot of this is in parentheses. So I'm going to try to read it in a way that it makes sense. So it says Jack, who is a commoner in England, is so poor, meaning lacking in spirit, that he takes his cow, meaning state of being subdued. So you have to realize that most words have different meanings or whatever like that. That's why we went through all of the definitions, because sometimes depending on what you're reading, you may think it's meaning something, but it's meaning something totally else, totally different. So it says He takes them into his mother, the Queen of England, and she casts or throws them out of the House of Lords or the House of Representatives through the window, the Federal Reserve. I'm gonna read this over, guys, so I don't want to confuse you. So it says, Jack was a commoner in England, is so poor, meaning lacking in spirit, that he takes his cow. His cow is basically the state of being subdued. So basically, Jack is subdued. It's not really a cow, and trades it for magic beans, which is illusions of mind. He takes them to his mother, which is the Queen of England, and she casts or throws them out of the House of Lords or the House of Representatives through the window, which is the federal window, or the symbol of the eye of Horus, the symbol of the U.S. Treasury, the same symbol that you see on the U.S. dollar, and into the earth called America. The beanstalk or lineage grows up overnight into the air and above the above the clouds, clouds meaning concealed or covered, overnight into, above the clouds, meaning concealed or covered. Jack, being curious where the beanstalk may end, climbs up the stalk where he discovers a heavenly place. Let's look up some more words. Okay, so giant, a being of extraordinary stature, strength, and intellect or powers. Moment. Okay. Intellect or powers. Giant. Hebrew Nephilim, those who fell. Another meaning for giant. A Sumerian Anunnaki, those who from heaven came down to earth. So we got 3 different meanings of giant. Giant, a being of extraordinary structure, strength, intellect, or powers. And then another one is giant as one of those who fell, as a Hebrew Nephilim. And then you have a Sumerian Anunnaki, those who from heaven came down to earth. Then you have goose, a swimming bird larger than a duck, a silly creature, an unthinking person, a game formerly common in England, played with dice on a card divided into small compartments of counters on which a certain goose was figured, referred to as the 12 good rules of the royal game of goose. Gold, a precious metal of deep yellow color. Money, riches, a symbol of what is valuable or much prized. Goldsmith, an artisan who manufactures vessels and ornaments of gold. Rothschild. Word egg, a roundish body covered with a shell or membrane, formed in a special organ of many female animals besides birds, in which the development of the young takes place. A symbol of productivity or fertility, also to incite, to sharpen, urge on, to stimulate, to instigate, or to provoke. All those are the meanings of egg. The word harp, a stringed musical instrument of great antiquity, to dwell on a subject tiresomely as to weary or annoy the listener. So like harping on something. So it has 2 meanings. It's an instrument, or you could be like doing too much, as the kids say, you're doing too much. uh the word fee. I'm sorry.
That's too funny.
Right. The word fee, pronounce fee, is a compensation for services, a fief or piece of land held of in for a superior on certain conditions, a feud. So this is where that fee fi fo stuff comes in at, because you got to know what you read. Okay, so it says the word feel, pronounced fi, and it's spelled F-E-O-H, but it's pronounced fi as in F-I-E, which is a feudal grant of land. Fo, F-O-I, pronounced foy, or faith, fealty, feudal law, belief, confidence, credit, trust. Thus, an act may be said to be done on the faith of certain representations. Fumage, pronounced fum or fume, also known as smoke, vapor, or fume. English law, same as fewage or hearth money, or a tax laid upon each fireplace or hearth. Okay, the word steal, to take and carry away feloniously and without right to gain or win by address or gradual or secretive means. The word axe, an instrument used for cutting down trees and hewing timber with a arching edge of iron attached to the handle. It also means the ace, or above the king. Fasces, an axe bound in a bundle of rods so as to reinforce a weak or broken handle, anciently borne before the superior Roman magistrates as a badge of power over life and limb, now the symbol of fascism. Also, the large two symbols posted on both sides of the House of Representatives of the United States. So everything is symbolism with these people too, you guys. That's another thing that I learned over the past couple of years. Everything is symbolism. So a lot of like the monuments and statues and things, like when you see them putting up certain hand signs and pictures and stuff, like it's all symbolism. Okay. Fascism, a totalitarian form of government which advocates the building of a highly nationalistic state, recognizing private ownership except when the state determines otherwise. Is the U.S. House of Representatives trying to tell us something there? So where are we now? Jack found himself in the realm of the giant, an almost overwhelming feeling if you think of yourself as small and weak and unproductive, as Jack did. You see, Jack soon realized that the giant ruled the earth and as well as the heavenly place. When the giant sensed Jack was in his presence by the stench of feudalism and taxes, the giant declared the Declaration of Independence. Fee, fi, fo, fum, I smell a blood of an Englishman. When Jack saw the giant of heaven with a goose, unthinking person that laid gold eggs, producing an unlimited supply of riches, and a gold heart, which is the truth that annoys the untruthful, he stated these wonderful things were too good for a giant to have. The Times of London newspaper quoted the following regarding fractionalized fiat money in America. If this mischievous financial policy, which has its origins in North America, shall become indurated down to a fixture, then that government will furnish its own money without cost. It will pay off debts and be without debt. It will have all the money necessary to carry on its commerce. It will become prosperous without precedent in the history of the world. The brains and the wealth of all the countries will go to North America. That country must be destroyed, or it will destroy every monarchy on the globe. This is a pretty nasty thing to say about someone or something. Does it sound like they are annoyed? Well, anyway, Jack thought that he needed wealth more than the giant did, so he stole it. The giant chased after or was led by Jack, who now was in control of the goose or the straw man. So this is basically breaking down the story about the Jack and the Beanstalk. So I hope everyone's understanding. So it says Jack, who now was in control of the goose or the straw man and gold in 1933, and the harp, which are the airwaves of sound, and the media, meaning they took over all media and the airways. They have control over everything, as we can see now. This is why they're able to do what they're doing when we're trying to have freedom of speech on their social media platforms and everything like that. These are the people that own all of this stuff. And we don't own anything. So, you know, we kind of in fucked up situation right now. Says Jack swiftly got off the beanstalk, meaning timely got out of the stock market, took an axe, proletarian politics, and cut the beanstalk, which means to a progeny of the giant. He cut it down, stock market crashing. The powerful being fell from heaven to earth, some say never to rise again. But here's the rest of the story. Indeed, the giant was thought to be dead, but he was not. He rose again out of the Great Depression, the bottomless pit that he had created when he fell to earth, which is illusion from the heaven to reality. The giant was just in a state of confusion. Dorothy, we're not in Kansas anymore. We're in KA. Now, y'all pay attention to this. This is just a clipping from the Dorothy movie when Dorothy said, "We're not in Kansas anymore. We're in the KA." KA meaning the fictional corporation. KA, Kansas. Capital K, capital A. That's the symbol for Kansas, basically, from the Wizard of Oz. That's all that stupid ass sentence in that movie meant. And we did not know that. The Wizard of Oz movie is also another movie that kind of was put out to kind of help us enter and understand what the Federal Reserve, what the government had did after they stole all of our gold and put us in this perpetual slavery, putting us under the Federal Reserve and stuff like that. So that's a good movie to go back and watch. And then there's people on YouTube, you can go and decode it. There's all type of different ways to decoding it, but here in the political and financial sense, this is basically what it means. The giant found himself hungry, tired, and without a dime. The Great Depression in the pit. So basically, the giant, when he found himself hungry without a dime, that was like symbolizing the Great Depression. So he voluntarily agreed with Jack by adhesion contract. Y'all dig this story now. He voluntarily agreed with Jack by adhesion contract to work on Jack's land, Jack's plantation. The giant saved up enough money, or IOU pledges against the giant's land via the fractional reserve banks, so that he could buy the land from Jack, even though the giant owned the land in the first place. Why are we buying land when we own it in the fucking first place is what I don't understand about our people right now. We like just so desperate to gotta have something, to be doing something, that we just out here stupidly buying land, and I don't understand it. But that's just my rant. Cause I don't get it.
Oh, I feel your frustration.
Yeah, here, let's put our money together and buy land. No, no, no. Why are we buying what's already ours? How about we come together and go after what's already ours? I
Yeah,
just don't get it. I don't get it.
because if you buy the land, that gives them the opportunity to try to take it again.
Take it back. Right. What are we buying? We just going buying some, unless we're doing it the right way. And learning this information, regardless, anybody can try to get around this to any type of way that they want. The way the system is headed right now, if you are not learning this information and not learning about trust law and stuff like that, and operating inside of what the republic and how the Constitution was originally set up, I don't care what you do from here on out. I don't care how much land you got, how much money you think you got. It's not yours. It don't belong to you.
Yeah, the way the system, it's,
Islam.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying too. How can you sit up there and buy land and then they turn around and tell you owe taxes on it? I mean, that's common sense. It's not yours.
It's not exactly.
Yeah, so you have to follow the laws and get it done right.
Right. So everybody trying to go around learning this information and thinking they doing something, trying to what they call stun on each other and shit like that. And it's like, it's just for what? When we all have an inheritance, what are we competing for? When we all have an inheritance, meaning this land is ours. So why are we not coming together to go after it?
yeah.
I don't get it. We got all this division going on, all of this community against this community, and we all is of the same people, and we all got inheritance. We all have an estate. We all have an abundance that's waiting for us. And it's like we rather keep fighting over some bullshit that these people gave to us, and it's like it's an oxymoron because it's not the freedom that our people are going after or believing that they have is not real freedom.
No. Well, the problem also is, people don't believe that, there's two United States, the one with the small U, which is the republic, and the capitalized, which is the corporation.
But it's not about no belief. It's about what is. Like, it's facts
Yeah.
over feelings. It's facts over your beliefs at this point. So, I mean, you believe Jesus really died on the cross too. But I mean, I have yet to see no proof of that. But I have seen proof of there being two forms of government.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Islam.
Islam.
Yeah, you remember Empress when you first posted that, and some guy out of Florida got to call you dumb, ignorant, and stupid, and I mean, people they're just ignorant to the fact.
Yeah.
Are you?
Most definitely. All right. How's everyone? How y'all looking on y'all time? Y'all want to continue? It's only like one page left in this chapter, and then we can end it for today, or I can continue reading.
Oh, continue reading.
Go ahead.
Okay. Is Mother Smith still in the building?
Yes, you can continue.
All right. I'm one moment. I'm gonna check, make sure my broadcast is still going on YouTube. 1 second, y'all.
Yeah, that's what I was getting ready to ask you. I was on one and where I can comment on it, and it went out, and I came over to this one. So I don't know if it's still up because it's storming where I am right now.
Okay, yeah, as far as what I see is still up and going, so
Okay.
yeah, we good over there. So I'm gonna go ahead and continue reading on, y'all. Okay, where was I at? Jack kept giving the giant less and less for his products, meaning inflation. This is silly, y'all. To a point that the giant could not pay Jack anymore. So Jack kicked the giant out of the street and took back the land by foreclosure. Sounds like a raw instead of the New Deal so far, doesn't it? An amazing thing happened next. The giant, seeing the goose and her gooseling, started to remember more and more, and he then woke up. That's my goose, and that's my gold, the giant shouted. Jack was afraid since he knew the sleeping giant had awakened. When the giant took the goose from Jack via CPR, the commercial process of redemption, then asked, "What is your name?" Jack told him his name, and the giant immediately asked the golden harp to play the harmonious notes, notices, and contracts to Jack, who by now was petrified with fear and couldn't move. So Jack began to threaten the giant, and when that did not stop the giant, Jack stumbled backwards, tripled, and fell by his own words and law into the bottomless pit, never to be seen nor heard from again. Does this story differ from the story you were told? Yes, it does. Who is Jack and who is the giant? Did you always think that Jack was the good guy? If so, whose side were you on? Anyway, if you were against the giant prevailing, what were you actually saying about yourself? How does the rest of the story affect you now? Wow. Because they always portrayed the giant in a bad light. That's man. I'm so pissed.
Yeah.
So pissed.
You're right.
Okay. It says chapter 13, what is real? Today, our society everywhere is based on a fiction, a fictitious plaintiff, the United States, versus a fictitious defendant, John Doe, in a fictitious court with non-consensual fictitious laws or statutes. Fictitious contracts, which are deeds of trust made by fictitious parties granting fictitious property or titles and legal descriptions to fictitious parties. You may say, I want only the real thing, something that is real. Same root as republic, actually being or existing, not fictitious or imaginary, genuine, not artificial, counterfeit or fictitious, not affected or not assumed. But what is real? Is matter or even your body real, or are they a composite of thought, particle, and sound waves with agreed upon electromagnetic energies that vibrate in fluctuating patterns so as to reflect light, thus giving the illusion of varying degrees of solidity, light, color, and motion? Woo! Let's go to the Matrix where Morpheus introduced Neo to the construct. Morpheus, your appearance is what we call residual self-image, the mental projection of your digital self. Neo, is this real? Morpheus, what is real? How do you define real? If you are talking about what you can feel, what you can taste, what you can see, then real is simply electrical signals interpreted by your mind. Does this idea sound familiar? Have you ever heard of this concept before? And God said, let us make image in our own image, after our likeness. Genesis 1:26. Man, also known as Adam, of the earth, a hypocrite. Image, to shade, a phantom, illusion, resemblance, a representative figure, an idol, a vain show. How is it that by saying you are a man, you are being a hypocrite? Hypocrite, hypocrisis, the playing of a part on a stage, simulation, to feign, to separate and put under, to act or practice, the act or practice of simulating or feigning to be what one is not, especially the assuming of a false appearance. Welcome, Mother Mia Shay. If you want to join along in our reading, we are on page 108, which is chapter 13. So have we been looking at God and man from the wrong perspective? Are you a creation, an illusion, a representative figure of the earth? Is the body real, or is it only an image, a vain show, a reflection of what is in your mind or God? Sorry, guys. Morpheus, the world exists as a neural interactive simulation. You've been living in a dream world, Neo. When Neo was in the jump program, where he was going to jump across to the other skyscraper, he let his doubt overcome him and he fell. Afterwards, he was in pain and commented to Morpheus, "I thought it wasn't real." Morpheus said, "Your mind makes it real. Your body cannot live without the mind." Wait a minute. If there really is nothing real, then what really is real? Really? Well, you know that you are real, don't you? Not your body, just you. Once you have the stable datum, then you create reality with your mind, not by trying or wishing or hoping or thinking or even believing something into existence. These words are way too wimpy. One must create reality by knowing. Ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. John 8:32. Remember what Morpheus said to Neo when they were sparring in the training construct. Morpheus said, "How did I beat you? Do you think my being faster and stronger has anything to do with my muscles in this place? Do you think that is air you are breathing? What are you waiting for? You are faster than this. Don't think you are. No, you are. Come on, stop. Stop trying to hit me and hit me." What is reality? Can one have reality without agreement? If two people were playing chess, then one could say they were playing a game of chess, a reality. But if one of them said, "I am not playing this game anymore," would there be a reality to the two people of a game of chess or not? What if one started playing on the same game board with the same pieces with the same player, only he changed the rules to checkers? Wow, what would that ever cause confusion in the guy playing under the rules of chess? We all can do this. We can change the rules and continue to play where we are right now in the same environment or board with the same people or pieces by our word. We can make our own rules and state, "This is how the game will be played. From now on, we play by my rules." Word or logos. Something said, including the thought, topic, reasoning, motive, a computation, expression from lego, to lay forth, relate in words, to show or make known one's thoughts. Flesh, sarx, flesh, as stripped of the skin, meat, body, as a symbol of what is external, as opposed to the mind or spirit, human being, from sorrow, to brush off, to sweep away. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. John 1:1. All things were made by him, and without him was not anything made that was made. John 1:3. Our world has been waiting for us to tell it what to do our entire existence. It will do anything we command it to do, if we only would figure out what we wanted it to do. Decide, take responsibility for the consequences, destroy all fear and doubt, command what you envision and attain it. Success, voila, completion, demonstration. Make the word manifest itself in the seemingly physical universe. The word was made flesh. John 1:14. When God became men. Here are a few quotes from the Bible that you must interpret for yourself in light of what you have read and understand in this lesson course so far. You shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. Genesis 3:5. Look, man has become as one of us, knowing good and evil. Genesis 3:22. I said you are gods. Psalms 82:6. Jesus answered them, is it not written in your law, I said you are gods? John 10:34. He called them gods on whom the word of God came. John 10:35. He that believeth on me, the works that I do shall he also do, and greater works than these shall he do. John 14:12. Anything you ask in my name, I will do. John 14:13, 14, 15, 16, 15, 23, 24, and 26. What are the above verses saying? Have you been told we can never be like God? Who told you this? Oh, but we can never say that we are God or even that we are like God. Oh, that would be blasphemy. Is it blasphemy or is it a mechanism to rebuild ourselves to stay in the box? To remind ourselves to stay in the box, to not eat of the fruit of good and evil, don't confront, don't look. Phrases like, you can't decide for yourself, you are nothing, are suppressive and debasing to say the least. Do you know the alleged act that Jesus was charged with and the reason he was crucified? It was blasphemy. Christ, Christos, anointed from Creo to smear or rub with oil, from Creoma to furnish what is needed to give an oracle, to employ, to use. That's the meaning of Christ. Jesus or Jesus, Greek, the Greek word Jesus, from Hebrew Yehoshua, pronounced Yehoshua, from the two words Yehovah, which means to exist, and Yasha, to be open, wide or free, wide or too free. Deliver, get victory. Jehovah is from another word, Yehuda, celebrated. Judah from Yada, to use the hand, to throw, to revere, or to worship, from a primary word, Yad, a hand. The open one, indicating power, means direction, in distinction from the closed one, or kaf, or kafaf, to curve, bow down, self. The word open, akin to up and over, uncover, unseal, free, in free ingress, accessible, free, liberal, not drawn or contracted, not secret or concealed, truthful and candid, laid bare, to reveal. Since the word Jesus is a Greek word that has been changed by the English derivation, I will refer to him here by his original Hebrew name, Yehoshua, meaning to exist as the one who opens or reveals the truth. Remember, when his body died on the cross, the holy veil was rent, which let the Son of God be revealed and accessible to all men. Yehoshua, the true idea of God, also opened the seven seals in Revelation. Blasphemy, blasphemia, vilification, scurrilous, calumny, calumnious, impious, from blapto, to hinder, to injure, or hurt. Many good works many good works have I shown you from my Father. For which of those works do you stone me? John 10:31. The Jews answered him, saying, For a good work we stone you not, but for blasphemy, and because that you, being a man, make yourself God. What is with the mindset of the planet that one is discouraged to the extreme from saying that he has created something and now wants to take responsibility for it? Do we have to live our lives continuing to be the effect and not dare to be the cause? For the fear of blasphemy, I refuse this philosophy. I know that I am the cause and for everything in my world, don't you? Have you ever heard of the definition of the criminal mind? The criminal mind accuses another for what you yourself are doing. Remember, your world is a reflection, the reverse image of your mind. Is it possible that whoever was accusing Jesus of blasphemy was actually guilty of blasphemy himself by the reversal of the above statement? You being a God, make yourself man. Since we really are kings and priests in the sight of God, possibly the ultimate game we created was so good that we believed it was real, and we created machinery, mechanisms, circuits, and artificial entities with artificial intelligence to make things easier to think for us and let them control us more and more so that we eventually forgot who we really are. Morpheus describes the world. We marveled at our own magnificence as we gave birth to artificial intelligence, a singular consciousness that spawned an entire race of machines. We know that it was us who scorched the sky. At the time, they were dependent on solar power, and it was believed that they would not be able to survive without an unlimited resource such as the sun. Throughout human history, we have depended on the machines to survive. Fate, it seems, is not without a sense of irony. Combined with a form of fusion, thinking you and the straw man are the same. Let me start over. Combined with the form of fusion, basically meaning you are thinking you and the straw man are the same. The machines or the banks have found more energy or currency than they will ever need. Endless fields. Humans are no longer born. We are grown, including a title of nobility or your birth certificate. For a long time, I did not believe it until I had seen it with my own eyes. I watched them liquefy or liquidate the dead, inanimate the straw man, so that they could be fed intravenously through the network of commerce to the living. What is the matrix? Control. The matrix is a dream world built to keep us under control in order to change a human being into this, a copper top battery, a production unit that provides energy called currency, more commonly called money. So under these seemingly overwhelming circumstances, a desperate question cries out from this morass of confusion we call life. Who is the one who will save us. Remember when Neo was asked if he was the one? He said he did not think he was when he was asked the question. So to him, he was not. But later on, when he had to make a choice to save his own life and let Morpheus die or sacrifice himself for a greater cause, he kept his integrity intact and was willing to lose his life for the truth's sake. In the end, he gained immortality. Save, sozo, to save, deliver or protect, preserve, make whole. Save from the Webster's 1939 means to preserve from destruction, to rescue from sin and eternal death, to deliver, to keep from doing or suffering. The word deliver means to set free or liberate, to the release, as from restraint, to set at liberty, to free, to rescue or save, to transfer, hand over, or commit, to surrender, yield, give up, or resign. 1939, Webster's. Redemption, to buy back, to ransom, to take back, to free from captivity or bondage, to release from blame or debt, to free from the consequences of sin, to exchange for something of value. How are the concepts of save, deliver, and redemption similar? Anyone want to answer that?
I'm sorry, Mother. This is Mia Shayal. What was the question again?
Oh, it was saying, how are the concepts of the words save, deliver, and redemption similar? I'll read the
I think it has something to do with restoring back to the original of what was. I mean,
okay. Yeah, I agree with that. Okay. Anyone else? All right, I'll continue reading. The word lose means to destroy, to perish, die, ruin, death, punishment. The word life means breath, the animal, sentient principle, as distinguished from the immortal soul. Heart, mind. Word find means get, obtain, or perceive, see. For whosoever will save his life shall lose it, and whosoever will lose his life for my sake shall find it. Matthew 16:25, Mark 8:35, Luke 9:24. Most of the followers of Christ today have adopted the idea that they will be saved if they do certain things or act in a certain way. What does save actually mean? To hoard or keep in the same condition? Or does it mean to liberate, release, and set free? If you think you can or should be hoarded or kept in the same condition, then you think you are a thing or a creation. Then how can anyone save you? How can you even consider someone else taking responsibility for your mistakes, sins, faults, and screw-ups? How can anyone live your life for you? To lose means complete destruction of life, the thing that breathes, or the mind, not the spirit or soul. Lose, to injure, to experience detriment, suffer loss, receive damage from zemia, detriment or loss through violence, akin to damazo, or to tame. The word soul, or pneuma, a current of air, breathe, breath, a breeze, spirit, the rational soul. Continue, For what is a man profited if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul? Or what shall a man give in exchange for his soul? It appears that the first lose is referring to the physical life that one is animated in, where you have a body that breathes. The second lose appears to be different, where the soul or spirit could have a loss through a violent experience. However, not total destruction as in the first lose. One can draw your own conclusion, but it looks to me like one cannot destroy oneself as an immortal soul, but one can suffer loss, receive damage, and experience injury. If one thinks of himself as an animal, he will have to continue in this physical world until he can contain until he can tame his irresponsible behavior and gain his true self again. Saving the world in the context that Christ was referring to was about liberating and freeing the world, the mind, from physical restraints, not preserving life in these earthly bodies. Only you can take responsibility for yourself. Only you can repair the damage that you have created. This is called unlimited liability. You pay back whatever it takes to put the injured party back in the same condition as before, or better than before the injury, even if it means giving up your mortal existence. The word one means a prime number. One, Hebrew, Ishad, united. First, alike, to unify, to collect one's thoughts. Another definition for the word one is unos, being a single thing or unit, not two or more, indicating a contrast or opposition to some other thing, closely united, forming a whole in agreement. Brother, adelphos, brother, in union by womb. Conformed, similar, union, with or together, resemblance, share as an allotment. What concept do one, brother, and conform have in common? For I have given you an example that you should do as I have done to you. John 13:15. Who is my mother and who is my brother? And he stretched forth his hand toward his disciples and said, Behold my mother and my brother. Matthew 12:14. And the king Yahushua shall answer and say unto them, Verily I say unto you, inasmuch as you have done unto one of the least of these, my brethren, you have done to me. Matthew 25:40. For whom he, Jehovah, did foreknow, he also did predestinate to be conformed to the image of his son, Yahushua, that he might be the firstborn among many brethren. Romans 8:29. And God said, Let us make man in our image after our likeness. Genesis 1:26. The word son means ben, a son, from bana, to build, to make children. So a son is something that is built or made or born or born in the image of his father, the body, made by the father or the principal spirit through the conception or thoughts of the mother, which is the mind. Just as Yehoshua is the son or the body of his father, Jehovah, which is the principal spirit, through his image, mind, we also exist in this configuration, spirit, body, and mind. Could this be the Trinity, Father, meaning spirit, Son, meaning body, and Holy Ghost, meaning mind? It appears that the above verses are saying that we are like Yehoshua, principles born into the seeming world or the body from the womb or the mind, and that we are all known by Jehovah or God beforehand, before this world began. Yehoshua or Christ stated that anyone in agreement with the principles that he stated are of like mind and are his brothers, and that he, as our elder brother, has set an example for us to follow. This is important. He did not say he was going to sacrifice our physical world for us. He said he gave us an example so that we can do this ourselves. You have your own matrix, your own world that you have created and live in at this very moment and very breath you take. But are you controlling your world or is your world it controlling you? It is your creation, however pleasant or unpleasant it may be, to take responsibility for. So right about now, you may be asking yourself, am I the one? Consider these ideas. I and my Father, Yehoshua, are one. John 10:30. And the glory which you gave me, and I have given them, that they may be one, even as we are one. John 17:22. What does being one mean? Redemption means to take back. Take back what? The control of your mind, the control of your creation. If you do not have control of your mind and your creation, then your world is divided and not in agreement, and you cannot redeem your world. You cannot be one. To be one, your mind and your creation must be in agreement with you. A marriage between your mind and your creation, like the marriage supper in Revelation 19. The word marriage is maritaticum, or marriage from maritus, a husband from mas or maris, male or masculine. Marriage, also gamos or nuptials. Nuptials, nuptialis, from nuptial, or marriage, to marry, akin to nimbus, a cloud, a veiling of the bride. Does the concept of the veil sound familiar? When Jesus, Yehoshua's body, the embodiment of the Christ, died, he rent the veil of the temple so man could commune directly with God and be one. At the marriage supper, Yehoshua the Christ will remove the veil from the wife, which is the church, so that they can be one. Both of these actions are uncovering something that has been hidden up to that point. Remember what Yehoshua the Christ means: he who opens or reveals. Betroth, or to contract with anyone in order to establish a future marriage. Pledge, affiance, to pledge one's troth. Jesus said unto him, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man comes unto the Father but by me. John 14:6. Responsibility, responder, to promise and return, to answer, spanis, or betroth, spendiant, to pour a libation, to be answerable or liable for creating, to take ownership of a creation. So here we are at the beginning of the lesson course again at responsibility. We have come full circle. We started with responsibility, meaning betrothed, and we end up with the subject of marriage. Responsibility is everywhere in turn, but most of our lives we have been running from it, attempting to escape from responsibility. It is impossible not to look, so we must confront our own lives at some point. We will have to keep the promise we made in our contract at the beginning of the game we began to play long ago. We will have to take responsibility and marry the creation that we have created to bring it into fruition. Morpheus, I'm only trying to free your mind, but I can only show you the door. You are the one who has to walk through it. You have to let it all go. Fear, doubt, and disbelief. Free your mind. Let your mind become mind. What are the attributes of the number one? Creator, source, originator. What are the attributes of East? The front place, the four, part, the four part, time, antiquity, the project to project oneself. Some of you have heard about commercial redemption and the UCC, the Uniform Commercial Code. Some of you are already UCC1 redemptors. Well, what are you waiting for to start to redeem? In the beginning, God or source created the heaven, which is mind, and the earth, meaning creation. And the earth was without form and void, or confusion. And the darkness meaning ignorance, was upon the face of the earth, of the deep, meaning the artificial basis. And the spirit is the command, spirit is command of God upon or over. Upon means over the face of the waters or unstable creations. And God said or commanded, let there be light, and there was light, meaning duplication. And God saw that the light meaning understanding, that it was good, and God divided or digested, organized in one's mind, the light from the darkness. And God called the light day, meaning the sun, and the darkness he called night, which is the moon. And the evening and the morning were the first day. Cycle of action, meaning cycle of action, circle of completion or age. So that completes chapter 13, guys. So next time we get together, we're going to pick up from there and finish reading on next Sunday. I did, for the purpose of this being a live broadcast while we are gathering today, wanted to just put out there if anyone is interested in joining our community and, you know, communing with us when we gather on these live broadcasts, on these Zoom calls that we have on a weekly basis. As you can see our schedule above, the only day that is, well, yeah, I've already changed. So the day that you see on the picture here are the days that we gather. Now I've changed, the only thing that I've changed was for Tuesdays, we're gonna just make another reading day. And then if anyone has questions about financial literacy or about our projects that we are working on, we will briefly go over those on Tuesdays, but it's more so going to be for reading these books, getting through this literature, so we can get an inner understanding a lot faster than what we've been doing, and helping each other to set each other free with this information, this knowledge. So also, I wanted to also say that please check out our website, www.freedomriders.org. That link is or will be in the description area of this video. Once it is, once we have completed, because I did not put it in the description area yet, but I will once we complete this broadcast. And I also wanted to say we are building a community. We're working towards helping everyone to be able to replace their jobs and not have to worry about being vaccinated We're also, working together to build generational wealth through community wealth building. So there is a video about community wealth building and how we are using the internet age to build wealth as a community for our own households. We're just working together, coming together, putting our financial resources together to create more, so that everyone will be financially independent within their own homes, and own communities, to be able to go out and, help others as well. So this is what we're doing. I'm very glad that for everyone who showed up today. I appreciate you all. Did anyone have anything they wanted to say, or add to today's discussion? Also, we are into acquiring gold, silver. We learn about cryptocurrency. We're into basically teaching the real world of finance. We're going to be adding a lot more to what we're doing here in the near future as we become more knowledgeable about the real world of finance, which is what this book is really about and teaching us. We're just learning the history, and it is also teaching us some concepts of what we need to do moving forward as far as like filing the UCC1 as it stated in the ending of that chapter there. So in the meantime, I'm going to be taking the time when I'm not on these lives or whatever to get the UCC1 filings and stuff like that down packed, so that I can be able to relay that information to you all, and we can go from there. Other than that, I just wanted to thank you all for showing up today to our daily, weekly gatherings. Someone unmuted themselves, you have something you want to say?
Yes, Islam.
Islam.
Yes, I just wanted to send peace and love to everybody on the call, and to you, host, Empress Shea Marie. And just want to thank you for another great build and taking the time to make sure we learn this. And I appreciate it, and I yield.
Absolutely. Thank you. I appreciate you all for being here. Thank you for your time and wanting to learn this, because without you, I would not be here doing this. I don't get any type of compensation or anything from this. It's just my passion has always been to want to set people and help people get free. And although I'm not free, I'm coming into the knowledge more and more every single day of how to get there. And so I just want to share it, and we can all get there together. Like, it doesn't have to be me learning and then y'all having to sit back and wait for me to get the knowledge. We can get it together, because we are all capable of reading. We should be, and getting the knowledge. And if we're not, we're going to work together, make sure that we all understand and understand. So without also the financial part, where no one has to worry about money, because that should be the least of our worries. So that's why we have the community wealth building thing in place, so that as a community, as we put our financial resources together, instead of continuing to give them to the very people that have got us in this situation that we're in impoverished states of mind and physical impoverished states, they're the ones who got us in this. So why do we keep on participating in their systems? So we're participating in our own systems, creating our own way, using what is supposed to be real money, what they were supposed to be using in the first place. So we're getting back to what is known as real money, and acquiring gold and silver. And we're tapping into this new digital finance world with crypto, which is extremely beneficial. And if you're not are not into cryptocurrency, you don't want to get left behind, and not have some digital assets under your belt. So if you don't have a crypto wallet, And that's for anyone on this call either, because I set out to make sure that everyone had crypto wallets, was able to be able to purchase cryptocurrency, and that you have crypto assets in your portfolio that are building and growing. So if I don't do anything else, I want to make sure that I do that. You already have your silver and gold. Everyone, I believe, here has their silver and gold accounts and are getting their silver and gold on a monthly basis. But I want to make sure that the crypto thing is in your portfolio as well, and that you have an over understanding of it, and that we're growing in that area as well. So make sure that if you're listening to this, or if you're here on the panel today, make sure that you join us on Thursdays, because that's going to be the day we're going to start talking more about cryptocurrencies and diving into that a little bit more. I'll definitely have something more education on that in that area for you guys this coming Thursday. So with that being said, I appreciate you all being here, and anyone who's listening to the broadcast, please go to freedomriders.org. You can join our Telegram chat through there and be able to communicate with myself or anyone in our community there in our Telegram chat. That's where you'll be able to get all access to our Zoom meetings that we hold privately. We also do meditations on Wednesday. So I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow, so we can help to continue raise the vibrations all across the world. Super excited about that. And let's get this thing going, guys. I see nothing but greatness happening for us. We just got to stay consistent and believe in what we're doing, and just bring more people, continue building. With that being said, I just want to end the broadcast and say I love you. I love all of you. Peace and love to all of you. And my name is Empress Shay Marie of Freedom Riders. I am the founder of Freedom Riders Investors Community. And everyone have a good evening. Islam.
Islam. Peace and love.
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 Peace and love, everyone.